Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. About 4 months ago, I received a block of olive wood in our club wood exchange. It was wrapped in shrink wrapped. I didn't know whether it was wet or dry, but I decided olive wood, well, why not go for it? Wasn't that big. It was a little bit irregular on the outside. But I started to turn it, quickly discovered that it was very, very wet, which is just fine with me. But it also amazed me about how beautiful that olive wood grain was. So yes, I rough turned it, a little bit large, sealed it with bowl saver, and now have finished it. And while it was far from instant gratification, it is well worth the wait to turn green wood, dry it, and then finish turn it. I think you'll agree, so let's turn this little olive bowl.
This block of olive wood has been wrapped in stretch wrap plastic. The surface seems dry. The end grain has been sealed with a wax sealer. I've learned that plastic is not a water vapor barrier, it is a water vapor retarder. Wood can still lose moisture, but at a lower rate that hopefully enables steady, even drying. The wood is roughly square. One side is the outside edge of the trunk and is a bit uneven. I want to rough cut on the bandsaw and need a guide mark. I tried to use my circle guide but could not easily draw a circle due to the uneven surface. Instead, I found the center and pressed the wood against a closed chuck, then used the tool post to mark a circle. At the bandsaw, I stay well outside the line. Mainly, I want the corners cut off. The worst thing would be to wander inside the line and lose width. Now back at the lathe. The flat side of the wood is pressed against closed jaws using live center pressure. Using my large bowl gouge, I'm first tooling at a 45-degree angle at what will be the bottom. I'm quickly finding that the wood is still very wet. My best clue is the bubbling water on the inside of the gouge. As I expose the wood, I see fantastic grain. This will be very pretty. Once I have the wood roughly round, I can smooth off the bottom and cut a small tenon. After gluing the mounting tenon, I cut another ledge that will be important in first forming the exterior, then guiding my eye as I cut and hollow the interior. Another clue to the moisture content is the wood color change. When cut, it is a deep brown. After exposure to air, the color lightens. Then, when I take another pass, it turns brown again. I'm realizing that I will need to rough this a bit large, then let it dry. After drying, I'll remount and finish the small bowl. Now I've flipped the bowl around and mounted it using the tenon. To start with, I'm keeping the live center for a bit of safety while I take some initial cuts and some hugging out of the center. Then back off the live center and take more gentle cuts to finish hollowing and refining the center. I think olive will permit thinner walls, but I'm leaving them thicker for now while it is still wet. Hopefully, then I can remove any warpage from drying when turning the final dry wood. For now, I just want to make the wall thickness even. Since I'm going to let the rough bowl dry, I'm coating it with a green wood sealer. This brand is Bowl Saver from Craft Supplies USA. In the nearly 4 months, it lost about 1/3 of its weight. Now the first thing I need to do is to trim the original tenon. Fortunately, I still have the original live center divot. I'm using the live center in its divot to press the wood against a wood faceplate. My skew does a great job cleaning off the bowl saver and trimming the tenon. With the bowl mounted via the tenon, I can start trimming the bowl. I'm using my bowl gouge to remove just a little wood on the exterior and form a lip. Here I'm mostly shear cutting to leave a smooth surface and remove very little wood. I'm keeping the live center in place for added security. A rubber stopper prevents damage from the point. Now for the interior with my bowl gouge. This wood is sweet and tools nicely even now when it's dry. A few finishing cuts with a heavy bowl scraper finishes the interior. Now a short intermission while I sand. Before I take the bowl out of the chuck, I'm wrapping the edge with masking tape to protect the wood from damage from the chuck. Then measure the wall thickness and compare it to the bottom thickness to see how much wood I can remove in forming the foot. Turns out I have plenty to spare. For the foot, first I'm hogging off most of the tenon with cuts parallel to the axis. This is a safe cut even though I have a good hold on the bowl. Then shear cutting to refine the surface. A box scraper defines the inner perimeter and makes a couple of decorative marks. I need to repair my wood burning setup. While I get to it, I'm signing with a Dremel engraving tool. It is designed for metal but does a good job on wood also. A bath in walnut oil completes this bowl from olive wood. Did I say the grain is beautiful? I love the color and the grain. I'd love to find a regular source for olive wood and bigger chunks. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video. Please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.